You get the promotion, you celebrate for maybe an hour, and then, almost without noticing, your mind is already asking, okay, but what's next? That moment right there, that tiny, almost invisible shift, that's not ambition. That's something else entirely. And somewhere inside you, I think you already know what it is. Here's the thing nobody talks about. The chase itself is the symptom. And the harder you chase, the more you confirm the belief you're running from. There's a book called The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown, and she makes a point in it that stopped me cold the first time I read it. She says that most of us spend our entire lives trying to earn a sense of worthiness we were never taught we already had. Not earn back, earn, for the first time, from scratch, every single day. That reframe broke something open in me, because it means the exhaustion you feel isn't from working too hard. It's from working towards something that was never actually available at the finish line. Think about it this way. Imagine you're trying to fill a glass with water, but the glass has a hole in the bottom. You could pour faster. You could find better water. You could switch glasses. And for a moment, a beautiful, fleeting moment, it looks like it's working, and then it doesn't. And you tell yourself you just need to pour harder. That's what it feels like to seek worthiness from the outside in. The achievement is real, the validation is real, but it doesn't reach the place that actually needs it, because that place isn't external. Here's where things get interesting. Most people assume the problem is low self-esteem, like they just need a confidence boost, a better morning routine, a win big enough to finally stick. But that's not quite it. The problem isn't that you think poorly of yourself. The problem is that you made a silent deal, probably very young, that your value was conditional, that love, belonging, and worth had to be earned through performance, through being good enough, through being useful, impressive, or needed. And once that deal is made, every achievement becomes both proof and threat. Proof that you can do it, threat that next time, you might not. This is the grief that has no name. Not the grief of failing, the grief of succeeding over and over, and still feeling like you're one bad quarter, one mistake, one ordinary Tuesday away from being exposed as someone who was never really enough to begin with. You kept winning, and still, it never quite landed. If this just put language to something you've been carrying quietly for years, that's exactly why this channel exists. One book, one honest conversation, one layer deeper every week. Stay with me. So what do you actually do with this? Because saying, just believe you're enough, is the most useless advice ever given. You can't think your way into worthiness. You've tried that. The mind that built the belief is not the tool that dismantles it. Brené Brown talks about this when she describes what she calls wholehearted living. And it's not a personality type. It's not something some people have and others don't. It's a daily practice of choosing to show up as you are, instead of the version of you that you think will finally be accepted. The surprising part is this. The people who seem most at ease with themselves, the ones you look at and think they must have their life figured out, they're not more successful than you. They didn't get more external validation. They just stopped outsourcing the verdict. They made the decision, at some point, that the trial was over, that they were no longer waiting for the jury. And here's the uncomfortable reframe that might sting a little. What you've been calling drive, ambition, high standards, some of it is genuinely those things. But some of it, if you're honest, is fear, wearing a very productive outfit. Fear that if you slow down, stop achieving, stop being impressive for even a moment, something terrible will be confirmed about you. The cruel truth is this. Every time you need another win to feel okay, you make the feeling last a little less long than the last time. The tolerance builds, the dose has to increase, and the belief underneath, the one that says you are not yet enough, it doesn't weaken with each win. It gets quieter for a moment, then it comes back hungrier. So what's the alternative? Not complacency, not giving up on growth or ambition. Those aren't the enemy. The enemy is the source of the motivation. There's a difference between creating because you love it and creating because silence terrifies you. There's a difference between achieving because you're curious and achieving because you're afraid of what it means if you don't. One of those feels like freedom, even when it's hard. The other one feels like running, even when you're winning. Worthiness, as Brené Brown puts it, isn't something you earn. It's something you practice recognizing. It was there before the first achievement. It'll be there after the last one. The work isn't to prove it. The work is to stop systematically denying it. And that is work. Real work. Quieter than productivity, harder than hustle, and invisible to everyone watching your highlight reel. So here's the question I want to leave you with, not a comfortable one. If you already knew, not believed, not hoped, but knew, that you were enough exactly as you are right now, what would you stop doing? And what would you finally let yourself start? If the Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown is calling to you after this, it's worth your time, not as a self-help checklist, as an honest mirror. Whatever answer just surfaced, trust it.